One, two, 1, 2, 3.
What are you going to believe? Who are you going to trust? These are basic questions that shape not just agriculture, but all human life. Because so much of what we know, we learn from others. And that's a good thing, by and large. I mean, it's part of our sociality. Yet it poses important questions when we consider why and how folks might change the way they farm. Like switching to organic agriculture, or becoming a grass-based farmer, or even deciding that what they want to do is open the biggest CAFO operation the state of Wisconsin has ever seen, using genetically engineered crops to feed the animals. Because if you've never done something before, how will you know it will work? So you rely on the experience of others you trust. You see, you and I have a basic problem. We don't have time to check out everything for ourselves. We can't do all the experiments of the scientists on our own. Even if we had our own laboratories, we can't do all the experiments of practical daily living on our own either. We're only one person with one pair of eyes and just one life to live. So we ask others about what they experienced in the laboratory of life. Others we trust. Trust. We trust. Now let's just step back a minute here, just for a second, to talk about why someone might farm. In most cases, it's not for the money. Look at this graph. The median farm income in the U.S. for the last 5 years has been less than $1,000 and has actually been negative most years. 2020 is forecast to be a relatively good year, and the median income is projected to be $934. Yes, that's a median figure. So half of farmers are doing better than that, but half are doing even worse. Almost all median farm income is from off the farm. That's how most farm households get by. So why do folks farm? It's a huge amount of work, and you usually don't make much doing it. That's the farmer's problem again, stuck on the treadmill. Well, people do it because they like how it feels to be a farmer. What you do is who you are. The most important crop in the field is the self. And not just the self of being a farmer, but the self of being a particular kind of farmer, a dairy farmer, a CSA farmer, a goat farmer, an orchardist, a progressive farmer, maybe an organic farmer, or maybe a modern farmer with a big CAFO operation powered by GMO crops. And also, who you are is what you know, and who your friends are and what they know. Because, again, Most of what we know we learned from others. Others with whom we identify and trust. That self out there in the field is a social self. It lives and experiences through culture and the lines of difference and similarity that we draw together. Like different crops in different fields. I like to think of it as the cultivation of knowledge, connecting our trusted knowledge to our social identity. Therefore, changing farming practices means changing your friends. It means trusting different knowledge, and it also means changing how others see you and relate to you, and how you see and relate to others. Yo, that's hard. We're social critters. These are super big changes. Does this mean that we're all stuck with a few pals behind our own fences, barbed and electrified? No. We can still connect. And we do. We can extend out from our own situations and link with the knowledge of others in their situations. Just like the ground where you stand ultimately connects to the ground where I stand. If we make the effort to walk over and talk one to another. We can go over the fences. We can go under them. Some co-authors of mine suggest that we think of this linking of situations as grounded knowledge, each mindful of what their experience has shown, but inviting the wisdom of the experience of others. The trick is how to encourage this grounding of knowledge. Because a lot of times, we're too scared. We're too angry. We're too proud. One great approach is what is often called participatory research, in which the insights and concerns of local people in their everyday lives come together with the insights and concerns of experts. The result is knowledge that is more practical and that everyone can identify with because everyone had a hand in cultivating it. Sometimes as a social scientist, one of my natural science colleagues comes to me and says, "Mike, I got a great idea. It worked so well in my experiments." "You're a social scientist? Can't you help me convince farmers to adopt it?" Whew. Well, this is a depressingly common approach to knowledge. They call it the adoption of innovation, sometimes adoption diffusion. And then we're right back behind the fences of knowledge cultivation. Why should farmers trust an egghead from, say, the agronomy department? They don't know the scientist, and the scientist doesn't know them and their concerns, aside from distant glimpses through the fence. But how about if farmers participated in the research? How about if they helped set its agenda? And maybe even help collect and analyze the data? And if they got to know the scientists and the scientists got to know them along the way? That grounds the knowledge. That gets us all learning from each other. That makes the knowledge not just transdisciplinary, but something everyone identifies with. I've been holding this hat here, and that's because there's a great organization called Practical Farmers of Iowa that does a marvelous job of encouraging people to want to ground knowledge, linking their experiences. They organize farmer-led experiments on their own farms, where the scientists come in as consultants, really, just to ensure the results are scientifically valid, and where the scientists also collect a lot of the data. Now, the scientists also suggest experiments that might be tried, but if the farmers aren't interested, well, then let's try something else instead. Randy, Claudio, and I are involved in a lot of participatory research too, especially right now in this big Grassland 2.0 project, which you've heard a bit about. We love it! There's no need to hope that farmers maybe one day adopt the results of the research, because it's their research already. And we all make a lot of new friends along the way. What are you going to believe? Who are you going to trust? That depends on who you are. And that depends on who we are.